What is the biggest men-women double standard? Being good with kids, liking kids. All the different ways people look at sexual violence based on gender. Edit. Thank you for all your responses and food for thought. Will answer in the next days as I am not home currently and incredibly busy. After reading all the inbox messages, I just want to add that Me2 would probably make a bigger impact than Me2 did. I was listening to the radio in the car, and a very serious ad about sexual violence started playing. The ad said, "When you think of sexual violence, you probably imagine a young woman being harassed by a stranger." I thought to myself that this ad will probably mention that sexual violence happens to men too, and try to raise awareness about it. The ad then went to say that it also happens to women in their homes by friends, family and significant others. I am not saying that was a bad ad. Those are very real issues. However, I never seen or heard an ad targeted at male victims, and that made a little sad. I graduated college last June. The last couple of months took a toll and my wonderful wife stayed home with 2 kids and did everything around the house. When I graduated, everyone told me how it must have been tough on me the last 2 months. My wife just finished her last exam last Thursday and I've been taking care of the kids in the house for the last 2 months. After her exam, everyone kept talking about how hard it must have been on me. As a father, it's apparently a minor miracle when I was taking care of my kids myself if my wife was at work or out for the night. I'm their dad. It's my job. Sex and violence. Women that have lots of SXRS and men that hit women are pieces of. But a guy having lots of SX is no big deal, and a girl slapping her boyfriend makes you think he ed up. Why can't women have lots of SX? Because they enjoy it like men. And why do we more readily accept a woman hitting a man? Society and its attitude to RP. Man RPs woman equals prison, and rightfully so. Close bracket. Woman RPs man equals lol. Isn't he lucky he got hard so he wanted it? You. Close bracket. Man RPs man equals lol. Don't drop the soap. Gross. Woman RPs woman equals doesn't exist. Actually does. Though in some countries not illegal. Why doesn't all RP result in prison? I work a weird schedule that gives me lots of weekdays off while the wife works a regular MF job. I take my kids to the park a lot. I'm the only guy there watching kids at the park in the middle of the day while there are several cliques of horsefrogs around watching their kids too. I often see them whispering together while starting at me, pointing me out to each other or otherwise giving me the stinky. I have been flat out walked up and contacted by the cops twice asking if I have kids at the park. Also seen several other instances of seeing cops slowly rolling by and their cruisers eyeballing me. WTF. I am a random normal looking dude at the park while my kids are playing on the monkey bars. Women's pants have useless pockets but they tend to carry around more stuff. Commercials are the worst. Anytime there is a cleaning product it acts like men are completely clueless. I do all the laundry, cook all the meals and keep the house in somewhat order. Yet these commercials tell everyone that I am incompetent compared to my wife. Also those commercials in which a guy wants to fix something and the woman laughs at him. If it had been done the other way, the company would have been ran out of business with all of the complaints. I'm still a teenager and my dad got into an argument with his girlfriend's sister, let's call her Sarah. Sarah started screaming and punched and scratched my dad all over his arms and my dad only pushed her away. She called the cops saying my dad assaulted her. Well, the cops show up and arrest my dad. As he's being placed in cuffs he says, "Look at my arms," to the cop. They were all scratched up and the cop let my dad go, but Sarah didn't even get in trouble. I was also a witness and told the cop my story. Cop left saying for my dad to stay away from Sarah or he will be arrested. Social acceptance of masturbation toys. When a woman gets a vibrator, it's seen as a bit of naughty fun. But when a guy orders a 240 volt Master Pro 5000 blow up latex doll with 6-speed pulsating PSSY, elasticized anus with non-drip semen collection tray, together with optional built-in realistic orgasm Scream 7. 1 surround system. He's called a pervert. Long hair. No one bars an eye at a girl with long hair. But it's unprofessional for a guy to have it. I know a guy who had long hair and applied at McDonald's. The manager asked if he'd cut his hair. Stay-at-home dad taking care of our 2 children. 1 newborn and a 3-year-old. Apparently, if I was a woman I'd be a hero. Instead I'm a deadbeat who mooches off of my wife. Being a mom is the hardest job in the world. Ladies can call their friends their girlfriends, but a man can't call his friends his boyfriends. Not fair. On the other hand, we have the benefit of addressing our friends with gentlemen. I'm surprised no one has brought up sterilization. Men are typically more accepted for vasectomies and can even get them done in their 20s. Many women have extreme amounts of trouble even getting their tubes tied. Some women require hysterectomies to fix something, like endometriosis, and doctors will straight up refuse to perform the operation because of fertility reasons. Despite it being the best and only option. Edit. To the people saying that it's impossible to get a vasectomy before 35. There are many doctors who will do it. But they require some looking around to find. Also, I get that it's less evasive than female sterilization. But my point still stands. Many women do seek sterilization and have to go through hurdle after hurdle. Even after having kids. To get it done. On shows like The Talk, if the guest is a muscular dude, their physique will inevitably come up and they end up getting ogled and felt up by the female hosts. I guarantee that switching the genders would result in the social suicide of every guy on the stage. Followed by getting sued to hell and back. I saw this happen once on a British TV show called Loose Women, a bit like a British version of The Talk, and they happened to have a muscular guy on as a guest. They showed a picture of him on the screen of him shirtless. All muscular and what have you. And every woman in the audience wow. Ed and Wolf whistled. If it had been an all-male TV show with the audience wolf whistling at a female guest, there would be campaigns to get it cancelled because of it being sexist. Addendum. One of the presenters also went for 2. Further adding to my point. Guys often ask if I'm just in college to find a husband and Mrs. degree. Nobody would ever ask a guy if he went to college to find a wife. Not really a double standard, but I wish men had as many fashion options as women did. It's unmanly for a man to enjoy fruity drinks and cocktails. I order them anyway. Haters. I like mojitos. Homelessness and mental illness. I know a lot more men who have gone days without food or slept outside. Society treats older women and single moms like too. Cleaning. If you come into a couple's home and it's dirty, it's always perceived to be the woman's fault. I'm a guy. And I took my wife's surname because it sounded better than my original surname. I also refuse to call it my maiden name. It's maiden before she becomes a lady. You should hella call it your squire's name. Maybe it's generational. I'm in my early 50s. When I first got married I worked full-time and went to school full-time. Husband worked full-time but didn't go to school. My mother and Mill would always comment on how I needed to be a better housekeeper. Lost on them was the fact that husband did nothing to help around the house. Female friends and co-workers had similar stories, so I just assumed it was like that for most women. Women are automatically trusted around strangers' children. If a man has a small dick it's just a big eyeing joke. If a woman has a small dick she's exotic and SI. Hol up. Sexual assault. Now. Thankfully, women are starting to be taken seriously when they're assaulted. When a man is sexually assaulted by a woman people react like but. Men always want that. And laugh. Recently I walked past a small group of girls and overheard them complimenting each other on how beautiful they looked. It made me realize that it's virtually impossible for me to compliment any of my male friends on their appearance without being called gay weird. It's kinda sad honestly. Edit. That girls kissing at a party is totally straight and hot. Well, one time I suck my homie's dick and I'm considered gay. Go down on a girl. It's gay. You're getting all the dick she's had. Suck off your homie. That ain't gay. As a woman. Why do my nipples have to stay a deep, dark secret but men can walk around shirtless all day? Why are boobs so offensive? As a woman. Not wanting to have children and wanting to focus on a stable career is selfish but is perfectly acceptable for a man. I've worked in two industries that are largely dominated by women, customer service and pharmacy. Both in staff and leadership. They were both around 60-70% female. Nearly all of the sexism that exists in the modern workplace gets co-opted by women. Women interrupt the men in my meetings. Men who are assertive are seen as being dicks, while women are treated better. I've been told by female supervisors to smile. I think 90% of sexism isn't sexism. It's whoever happens to be in powerism. As women gain in power, they're going to do the exact same thing that they criticize men for doing now. Some 27-year-old dude teacher does a 15-year-old chick who wanted it. Hello prison my old friend. It's good to get butted again. 10 to 20 is my new sentence. Some 27-year-old chick teacher does a 15-year-old dude, or 2 or 3. She smiles on her way to probation and the men go, where were those types when I was a kid? Jail sentencing between men and women for the same crime. Divorce custody rates between men and women. Affirmative action which discriminates based on sex and race. Still waiting for feminists to protest against these systemic issues. Stay-at-home mom equals hard-working woman puts her family first. Women are allowed to be sensitive and cry. Men aren't. Unless they want to be seen as weak. I would say women are also seen as weak for crying. We just expect women to be weak. So it's okay. Man does it and it's weird. Maybe we could start seeing crying as a perfectly normal reaction for emotionally complete people. It'd be wonderful. Men can be shirtless in public. I say let everyone be shirtless in public if they want. Bossy man boy, assertiveness is a trait of good leaders. Persists with their idea despite the objections of others. Has a strong moral compass. He's tough but fair. Makes tough decisions. Bossy woman girl, doesn't work well with others. Should seek consensus instead of insisting on their way. Doesn't listen to others and is pig-headed. She's a bitch to work for. Doesn't admit mistakes and just keeps going. The reality is that sometimes you do need to be assertive. But sometimes being assertive is just cover for being an asshole. Sometimes you need to persist in your vision. Other times consensus is the best play. But it's all independent of the gender of the person. I say this as a father of 2 girls. I try to step back before forming an opinion at work or at home. Too often it's easy to fall into the gender-based roles that are based in our culture. Sometimes you don't even realize it since it's so steeped into our culture and thought process. And of course, sometimes someone is being a stubborn asshole. That's gender neutral. It's more of a subtle one that others listed. But for example, I was at my uncle and his wife's home. They both owned a home. I asked my aunt-in-law if I could invite 2 friends over for the event they were throwing and she said it would be no problem. I then immediately thought to myself that maybe I should ask my uncle too just in case. I stopped myself because I already asked his wife. She owns the house too and she said it was okay. I shouldn't have to refer to him just because he is the man of the house. So simple things like that are even double standards. Because I don't think I would have thought to double check with her had I asked my uncle first instead. Shouldn't you check with both since it's both of their house? I always had to check with both of my parents in no particular order. Mom was always the one to refuse if either of them did. I think it's genital mutilation. FGM is hugely illegal and talked about really often. Meanwhile male kids are circumcised legally and no one really talks about it. There's religious and cultural reasons for both. However, it's mutilation of a child's body both ways, so yeah. Having a strong opinion and willing to state it. A man is showing leadership. A woman is a bitch. Domestic violence. A man hitting his wife. A serious problem. A woman hitting her husband. A comical scene well put in every cartoon ever. If a man s a lot of people. He is the best if a woman does. A woman can't hit a man but we aren't allowed to spin their jaw in return. Also opening doors. Personally, I'm a woman. I think that whoever throws the first punch slap should be prepared to have it come right back. Being a woman should not spare me being hit when I'm being a bully. Women are judged more for watching PRN than men. I consume PRN and when guys find out they immediately think I'm loose and would put out for any man. Edit. Dress standards for getting into bars, clubs. A woman can get in wearing 2 feet of paracord tied to a square foot of fabric with a sardine tin lid tied to each foot with dental floss. Man needs to be wearing enclosed leather. Non-trainer shoes with dress shorts and a respectable shirt. Mental illness. It's never taken seriously. Either women are on their periods. Or men are weak, in more mild cases. We need to start taking it seriously and it keeps being swept under the rug. People are literally homeless because they didn't have access to what they need to help their illnesses. Yes. That's in more severe cases. But still a problem. People saying woman can't be exist. Given the options, responsibility for birth control tends to fall on women. Men don't have a pill that will mess with their hormones because the focus is on making the woman do it. As a man, I'd give anything to have more options responsibility than a permanent snip. Or awful condoms. I don't think this is entirely true. Ask the guys around you and most of them, I think, would say they want a male birth control. We're dying to be able to have that choice. But biologically it's more difficult. It's not as if scientists are throwing their hands in the air and saying, oh, women will take care of it. That in this thread, every double standard that affects men negatively is upvoted and agreed with. But the few ones mentioned that affect women negatively are questioned and dismissed. Edit. Also, it was when I made this comment. The one that gets me is adolescent boy bands. Adult women basically throw themselves at these boys and become utterly obsessed. Men can't do that because it's creepy, but it's okay for women does it. I think it's creepy either way. The whole manspreading thing. Sorry we have an appendage between our legs, but ladies will put a purse on the seat next to them so nobody can sit and that's okay. Someone states a double standard and then another post approves and right through their arguments against the double standard existing at all. Female assault predators get extremely lenient sentences versus male assault predators. Men are not trusted to cook at home, but many restaurants and cooking competition shows have many male chefs who are perfectly good cooks. Women cook at home when it's about maternal domesticity and everyday servitude. But when it gets serious, professional, high-paying, fast-paced, and elite, CTV chefs, it's a man's world. Functional pockets. Feminism. The movement is widely supported by an incredible number of people. However, if a man fights for rights, they're deemed sexist. Long hair. Not a week passes without someone saying you need a haircut or how much longer are you gonna let that go? Full stop. Bro. I'm not letting go of anything. Keeping this looking nice is work. My body. My choice. Your responsibility. If a woman can't be forced into being responsible in any way for a child she doesn't want just because a birth occurs, then neither can a man. Disagreeing with this makes you a sexist by definition and default. No matter how many but silent downvotes I get for stating this self-evident, objectively fair fact, I still won't be wrong. Responding with shaming language proves you have no case and I'm correct. Ignoring the rights of a father to his children proves I'm correct. All this will happen below anyway, even though I've predicted the lies they'll tell. Just watch. Women can't have leg hair but men can. Men are more free to walk around with less clothes on. But the moment a woman does it, you're being disgraceful and and a disappointment to your family. I find this applies particularly when it's hot out. Guys can feel free to whip off their shirts, but if you're a lady, you're being publicly indecent. It really grinds my gears. Single woman, strong independent woman. Single man, immature, irresponsible, loser who can't get laid. Woman wants tall man with money, no problem. Man wants woman with big boobs and butt. All people have a problem with women who want tall men with money. Gold digger is not a nice label. If a woman is smacking a guy around in public, people will watch on and probably laugh. If a guy so much as gets menacing with a girl in public, not even touching her, people step in and help the girl out. When women have attractiveness standards equals you go girl. When men have attractiveness standards equals stop shaming me. Women can't hit men, but men can't hit women. Woman grabs man's butt in public and it's funny cute. Man grabs woman's butt in public and you're in prison. It is a woman's right to abort a child they don't want, but if a guy doesn't want the child, the woman can keep it and force him to pay child support till the child is 18. Also, if a boy is statutory up and his rapist gets pregnant, she can still get child support from her victim. Guys shouldn't cry. Be a man. And just keep it to yourself. Men getting hit in the crotch is so funny and accepted it is almost encouraged. Some TV shows make a living on it. Hit a woman in the genitals so hard she is in excruciating pain and it gets the opposite effect. Domestic abuse. Girl hits guy, it's funny. Guy hits girl, he's in jail. I have twins and I'm also a successful career woman. My husband is also a successful businessman. We both travel for work. When he travels, no one offers to help me, stop by, or check on me. When I travel, there is literally a village waiting outside our house to pitch in. If a man doesn't date a woman because of her weight, he's a sexist, fat shaming pig. If a woman doesn't date a man because of his height though, that's absolutely fine, even though weight is changeable and height is not. Fat men are fat or obese. Men have to register for the draft, but women do not have to register for anything equivalent, be it civil service or something else. Feminists in the 80s actually tried to change that so that women were included as well. But it was rejected back then because they didn't even really want women in the army. It's okay to not want to date a fat guy, but if a guy says he doesn't want to date a fat or plus size girl, he's seen as an asshole. Women are overwhelmingly more likely to get custody of a child even if and when proven unstable. The entire courting process. The obvious men primarily paying for dates. Also opening doors. Driving everywhere. Buying an engagement ring. Etc. The entire process is the man paying or being submissive to win the woman's approval. Society encourages women to hit their domestic partners. Says it's comedy. And for that matter, for all the crowing women do about no means no. I know a lot of women who know all about taking no for an answer when it comes from a man. Cleaning. If you come into a couple's home and it's dirty, it's always the woman's fault. If a woman enjoys sex with men, that is fine. If I enjoy having sex with men, I'm all of a sudden gay. Something that annoys the out of me, female, is the assumption that the wives will enjoy get-togethers in the kitchen or living room with the other wives while the men hang out in the backyard or garage. I like beer. I don't like wine, and I don't like gossip or talking about recipes or shopping act. Truth is, I'd rather not be confined inside when I'm visiting someone's house. I get a bit claustrophobic and would rather be drinking beers in a lawn chair outside than talking about the cute outfits Susan found on a clearance rack. It's usually not a big deal. But there's always that couple who tries to separate everyone by sex when they host a party and I'm stuck not really enjoying myself. The one I hate the most has to deal with adjustments. If a woman adjusts her bra breasts in public, most people won't even notice. It kinda goes unseen. But, oh no. If I adjust my balls, then I'm some kind of weird pervert who can't stop touching himself. The looks you get make you feel like a creep. Drunk women are unable to consent to sex. Judgment impaired. Not responsible for their actions. Drunk men are totally responsible for their sex decisions. Their impaired judgment is no excuse. 2 women kissing is beautiful. 2 men kissing is gay. 2 women kissing is technically gay too. That at a party it's perfectly fine if a girl would to randomly kiss a guy. Yet if it was the other way around, it would be creepy and weird. I think the biggest thing I haven't seen mentioned here is being controlling in a relationship or using tactics to crush the other person. aka emotional abuse. Frequently I see examples of it by both men and women. The issue is when a woman is controlling, it is socially acceptable. My wife won't let me. My wife would kill me. Etc. The same goes for withholding sex or affection as a manipulation tactic. If a guy does those things, they will get called out on it far more frequently. I work in an office with primarily women. Anytime there's a delivery, they knock on my door and tell me I need to move the delivery to storage. We have a greeter and a supply person. And it specifically says in their job description they have to be able to lift 40 pounds boxes of computer paper. I was busy one day and said no. And they went to their supervisor about it. HR has now added to my job description assisting our supply person moving boxes because I'm a guy and shouldn't make women move things.